Next up is The Darkest Hour. Gary Oldman plays, Ernest Borgnine.
Winston Churchill.
In the moments as England is entering the war, just as it's beginning to enter the war.
So it is an origin story for Winston Churchill, because it shows him rising to prime minister.
Yes.
Even though he's quite old by then, has been in politics for a long time.
Yeah, he becomes prime minister on the back of this because there's a scandal that the other man, because of the way it was mishandled.
Neville Chamberlain.
And he's dying secretly.
Oh, good job, Nina. Neville Chamberlain. Ernest Borgnine.
And this movie was kind of interesting to me because it's one of those historical films, and we get one of these every year. A historical film that's not particularly accurate about the character you're telling the story about, that's got some saccharine moments that never happened, like when he goes to meet the people in the train.
That would have been a better documentary because it's a fascinating time period. But there are tons of fascinating documentaries about it, so why make it unless you're going to win an Oscar?
I will say this: I didn't think the movie was some big piece of shit.
No,
I thought, like, look, if I was in history class and the movie was largely accurate, and the teacher popped it on for like a break to give us a little break before Christmas break or something, I'd be like, okay. Yeah. Like this is good medicine.
But what about every time they went back to the House of Parliament and it was dimly lit with the smoky lensing?
It's totally cheesy.
And they're all like,
every time we cut with that thing that they set up about the handkerchief on the leg.
Yeah.
And then finally at the end he kind of looks at the handkerchief.
Wipes his mouth.
Yeah, and wipes his mouth and everyone goes, it's just corny and lame.
Yeah. I did think it was too dark. There wasn't enough color. Like it was like
it was gray.
It was like browns and blacks.
Yeah.
And that's it. And
browns and beiges.
And it glorifies him as a man. It doesn't talk about his alcoholism at all.
They hint at the son's alcoholism when they're with like the family. They're like, we get through it the best ways we can, and the son's like drinking. I'm like,
that's it.
And I don't think it's an especially good performance. But
No, it's hammy.
I actually thought that John Lithgow in The Crown did a much better Winston Churchill than this guy did.
And I think as royal drama goes, I think that's a better.
The Crown is way better.
Is better.
Costume
English costume drama. That's better.
Yeah.
Also, a movie from a few years ago, The King's Speech, is a better
Yes, it is.
film about that era.
Yeah, that's right. Well, because the king, who is played by General Krennic from Rogue One, he's portraying King George VIII or something. It's the same king that's portrayed in The King's Speech.
Yeah, which was better played in that movie by that guy.
the current Queen Elizabeth's
Colin
father.
Farrell.
Yeah.
But for sure. But also I would say that that The King's Speech is an example of somebody going through something human during historical events, which tends to make for better narrative. And I also thought The King's Speech had a lot more just kind of directorial vision. Yeah. There was the set design, the cinematography, the ways that the performances were directed. Yeah. It all had a lot more vision. Yeah. This felt like we're gonna make that cheesy historical drama Oscar movie
in a dusty closet.
In a dusty closet.
And there is a lot of Oscar chewing the scenery, screaming. Like he's blown his lid all the time and chewing people out.
Yeah, like chewing secretaries out and walking naked.
Was he nominated for performance?
Yes.
He's probably going to win too.
Really?
Well, that's the rumor and it's probably because Gary Oldman's been a fixture of Hollywood.
It's like time to give him one.
Because he didn't get it for Dracula, we got to give it to him.
What is it like if he had one performance? Is it a Sid and Nancy? Which one would it be?
Dracula.
Nina's really on the Dracula boat.
Man in Planet of the Apes.
The bad guy in Air Force One.
Leon the Professional, doesn't he do the everyone?
I mean, he is impressive. He vanishes into his roles, and he's great, but not this time.
No, I could see the Gary Oldman seams. For once.
Yeah. He didn't actually vanish into the Dracula hairdo.
and instead of him portraying an ailing Winston Churchill, I'm like, oh, Gary Oldman doesn't look so good. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the worst thing I can say about this movie is I have very little to say about this movie.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is
like it didn't inspire the same amount of fury as some of the others did.
No, you know what we have to say about this movie? It kept making you want to go watch Dunkirk. And be like, there's a more interesting movie happening on the other side of the
Christopher
water.
Nolan's film. He was talking about Christopher Nolan's film throughout the movie, and you wanted him to cut to it.
You know what would be a really fun thing to do? Is intercut between Dunkirk, King's Speech, and Darkest Hour. And
I would watch the shit out of that.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. For without victory, there can be no survival.